Morning, students. I hope you're doing really, really well. I'm going to give you a couple more minutes to see if anyone else jumps on this morning. Okie dokie, we are going to get started this morning. Look for a couple things here real quick. So at this point in time, you have already written both essays, and those were due last night. I hope that you got those in. If you did not, please keep in mind that you have 3 days to submit those. And if you get them submitted in 3 days, then you'll get a 10-point deduction, so 1 letter grade for each day that those are late. So just want to reiterate that if you were somebody that didn't happen to get that done in time. Today, I am going to walk through what comes next. And guys, today is the 23rd. It is really, really hard to believe that this class is coming to an end. And so your final exam in here is, I think it's due the first week of May. So the next couple weeks, we're really kind of done with lecturing at this point. I will grade the essays, and I will have one lecture probably next Tuesday where I kind of go over some of the big issues that I saw consistently. And we'll talk through that just for a learning opportunity. But the reality is after that, we're really just working on our final. So there's going to be one class period that's more lecture, but then there's going to be a couple that are just simply for me to be here, for you to conference with, for me to be here for you to ask me questions about your grades and your final presentations, so that you can finish well and get everything knocked out here at the end. So final presentations, let me share my screen. And this is going to be available in a module to you today. So be on the lookout for that. Students, you have done a great job this semester learning how to create your own research papers. You had to gather your own primary research through an interview process. And in that essay, you had to intertwine your primary and secondary research while answering the question, who is my subject and what did I learn about them? Through the process of the Myers-Briggs, creating a profile essay from someone in your field, and finding research, I hope you learned more about the career path that you plan to pursue. What we've been working on for the last couple of weeks was choosing a local issue to unpack. Through that essay process, you had to argue that this was a problem worth solving, and you had to create a viable solution for that problem. You did a great job in tackling a multitude of different topics, from opioids, human trafficking, STEM opportunities, and education budgets. It was fascinating to hear your ideas, and it shows so much promise for the future of our local communities. I love that y'all are thinking about these important issues, and that you recognize that they are in need of attention. You've learned how to write your own research, which is fantastic. Y'all, when you think about everything you have to learn in English 112, it's a pretty big undertaking. You're not just learning the writing process. You're not just learning how to organize an effective essay. You're also really trying to navigate, how do I integrate someone else's work into my own? And that's not easy. So kudos to each of you. But now we're going to shift gears, and you are going to take that research, and it's time to learn how to present that research. So you're going to pick one of your 2 essays to really unpack through an oral presentation. I do need to change a few things. We're using a new system this year, so ignore the fact that you're going to be using ScreenPal. I'm going to be showing you what you're going to be using as a recording platform here in a minute. Please consider the following requirements as you create and present. Your presentation on whatever essay you choose needs to be 4 to 7 minutes in length. So no less than 4, no more than 7. Your presentation should incorporate 2 sources that you used, and those sources need to be noted orally in your presentation. And if they're somewhere on a slide, then they need to be properly cited. There should be a minimum of 8 slides. In the first slide, I'm expecting that you're going to introduce yourself and the title of your presentation. Guys, what that looks like is when your first slide comes up, you should be going, "Good morning. My name is Mrs. Dupree. I am from the West Lincoln area of Lincoln County. And today I'm here to talk to you about blank." Okay. If you'd like to tell me what grade you're in, if you'd like to tell me what your pursuits are as far as your career goes, whatever you want to do is fine. But I expect a formal introduction at the beginning of that oral presentation. The last slide needs to be your works cited page. And after you recognize the sources in your works cited page, you also need to make sure that you thank the audience for their time. No matter what presentation you're doing, whether you're doing a teaching demonstration, whether you're speaking to a group, it's so important to end your presentation by thanking people for listening, okay? You need to consider how to effectively organize this presentation. What is the best way for you to get this information to the audience? This is a little bit of a shift in organization when you go from writing a paper to orally presenting. While you still need a cohesive, streamlined fashion, you may mix things up a little bit just to ensure that you're getting the message across effectively. Consider the aesthetics of the presentation. You don't want to crowd your slides. You do not need to be copying and pasting paragraphs and sticking them on a presentation. You want to ensure that you've got bullets with minimal wording, and that the way your presentation is orchestrated will capture your audience's attention. Consider your visual aids, add pictures, add memes, add aesthetics. Think about your font, think about your colors, think about your overall aesthetic appeal. Consider best practices for academic presentations. Guys, use eye contact, be audible, speak with levels of confidence. Y'all, this comes from practice, okay? I've been doing this for a long time, and so it comes very naturally for me because I do it every day. But even before I present new information, I practice to make sure that I'm convincing and I can critique myself. Do I need to change my tone here? Do I need to speed this part up? Do I need to cut this out? Do not turn this in if you haven't practiced, okay? Practice several times. Have someone listen to you. Have someone take notes. Have someone point out the flaws that they see. Be convincing and engaging. Your job is to make your audience listen. Y'all, when we're using a monotone and we're talking like this the entire time and we've got these copy and pasted paragraphs on our slide, no one wants to listen to that, okay? Really think through, how can I capture my audience, okay? So now let's take a look at the platform that we are going to be utilizing. And again, this will all be in your module. Oh, where did it go? There we go. Okay. Let's see there. Okay, here we go. Perfect. So we're going to be using a platform called StreamYard, and this is a step-by-step guide. This will also be in your module that's posted today. So let's talk about getting started. You're going to log on to StreamYard.com, and if you don't have an account, you go through the steps to create one. It is free, so you should not be paying for anything. On the home screen, you're going to click this button that says Create, Figure 1. And then you're going to select Recording from the list. You're going to give your presentation a professional title. Y'all, what this may look like if you're doing your essay 1, a profile essay, maybe you put a profile presentation, colon, and then the person's name, okay? It needs to be professional, and it needs to reflect your content, just like the title of a paper should. And then you're going to click Create Recording. You're going to allow access to your camera and your microphone, and you're going to add your name to the display name box and enter Studio. Move your cursor to your web camera in the display in the bottom left of the screen, and then you're going to click Add to Stage. So if you can see this in Figure 2, this is what you'll be doing. Once you're in the studio, you can create your presentation by uploading a PowerPoint, okay, or Google Slides. Either one is fine, and you can see the different options that you'll have. And then you'll follow the directions below based on what you want. I recommend PowerPoint because I do feel that it has a better aesthetic opportunity. That design feature that you have really allows you to give an aesthetic idea to your presentation, and it's more fluid if aesthetics is not your thing. So that's what I typically recommend to my students. So in the studio, you're going to click Present on the toolbar at the bottom of your screen, and then you're going to select Slides, and then you're going to add that file. So after you've created that PowerPoint presentation, that's the file that you would add. You're going to select Upload, and then you're going to find the file in your documents, select it, and click Open. Once that file is uploaded, in the bottom left, you're going to see a square with the feed from your web camera and a square with your presentation file. You're going to hover your mouse over the presentation square and click Add to Stage when the button appears, and then you will see your video feed and the presentation in the recording box or stage. So here's Figure 4 that shows you exactly what this should look like, okay? So again, you should be able to see your picture, and then you should be able to see the presentation that you're going over as well. If you don't like the layout of the stage, You can select different layouts by clicking on the options below. If you don't want your face to be in the video, select the cinema layout. When you are ready to record, click the blue record button in the top right of the screen. As you record, you can go to the next slide by moving your cursor to the StreamYard screen or stage, and then click the stage arrows that appear at the bottom. So this is ultimately what you will be able to see. And then if you need to delete, pause, or end your recording, you're going to click on the corresponding button at the top right of the screen where it says end recording. Okay. When you have ended the recording, click return to dashboard, and then you'll go to finalizing and submitting your video for further instructions. Okay, I'm not going to go over this because a lot of students do not use Google Slides, and I truly don't recommend it because I do think PowerPoint is a better option. So I'm going to skip over this, but if you are a student who wants to use it, you have this at your fingertips. So then when you get done, when you've done your presentation, you've made sure it's everything you want it to be, you've recorded it on StreamYard, let's talk about finalizing and submitting it. So after you end the recording and you click return to dashboard in the top right, you're going to go to the library tab at the left navigation bar. You're going to click on that presentation to watch the video, and you're going to make sure everything looks and sounds the way you want it to. If you need to cut anything, click 3 vertical dots to the right of the video and select edit and repurpose. If you need instructions, there's also an editing your video section. And so if you look in figure 13, you can see exactly where this is. To submit the video, you're going to click the 3 vertical dots to the right of the video and select share. You're going to copy the link, and then when you have the assignment piece in Blackboard, that's where you're going to copy that link and submit appropriately. Let's talk a little bit about editing your video. If you need to cut anything, go to the library tab on the left navigation bar. You're going to find that video, click the dots, just like I said, and do the edit and repurpose. Select videos. To trim from the beginning or the end, you're going to drag those blue sliders to wherever you want your video to begin and to end. If you want to cut specific sections, you're going to drag it to that section and you'll see a black line appear, just like figure 15 right here. You're going to click the split button on the left side, and you're going to drag the blue slider to the end, and the segments outside of the blue boxes, I'm going to repeat that one more time, the segments outside of the blue boxes will be removed. If you would like to delete an entire segment, you're going to click on that segment, highlight it, and then click the trash icon, and I'll show you what that looks like right here in figure 17. When you're done, you're going to click Save As New in the top right. Type in a unique title for the video that you want to be submitting. And once it's done processing, you can download the video and save it to your computer, or click Share and get a link. And it's going to be the same instructions, just like I just taught you how to share. If you need more help with StreamYard, they have a support page. And again, you can always reach out to me, and I will be more than happy to help you. So this is what things are going to look like this week. You are going to receive the feedback on your essay, okay? And then once you receive the feedback on your essay and you know any tweaks you may need to make in your presentation based on that feedback, at that point in time, you're going to go make your presentation and you're going to start working on this recording option. guys, I believe I'm going to have to check the module. I believe that's due for y'all. Actually, let's take a look right now. Okay, maybe I do not have that right now. I'll take a look and I will post that in the announcements today. Let's talk about a couple things real quick. Making a script. So when you're presenting, the thing that you want to avoid is reading your essay. Okay, there is nothing more boring than a student grabbing their essay, reading it, and thumbing through some slides. I want you to look at your essay and go, what are my main pieces here? What is my thesis? What topics support that thesis? And what was my best research that I used to really support those ideas? That's what needs to be going in these presentations. I would strongly recommend that you create a script so that you can go through those different bullet points and really know what the most essential places are that you need to be presenting that information over. And ask yourself, what's the most effective organization for me to do this? When you get to using your research, make sure that you are indicating through a transitional phrase that you are cueing the listener, the reviewer, the audience to know that you're using somebody else's material. Okay. So maybe that looks like I'm talking, and I say, in addition to my own research, Duke University says blah, blah, blah. And then it needs to be properly cited on those lecture slides. Okay, so we're not going to be reading our paper. We're not just going to be copying and pasting paragraphs. We are asking ourselves, what are my major points? What are the things that I need them to walk away understanding? And how do I most effectively put that in a presentation? Y'all, when you're creating those slides, you don't want to bunch them up with a ton of words where I can't see them. I should be able to view through those slides, easily read it, admire the aesthetics, and be captivated on what you're saying. Okay, so just a few key things there. Another thing I want to talk about is this. This is the rubric for this final presentation. First impressions and conclusions. The student introduces themselves and they thank the audience for their time and call for any further questions. These are the point scales, 0 to 10. 7 to 10 is that you've shown growth. 0 to 6 is there's still room to grow. Content and effective organization. The student effectively presents their argument essay highlighting the most important aspects of his or her research. There is a clear purpose, thesis, and direction. Student presents the research through multiple points with great clarity, support, and acknowledgement of other ideas that may contradict their own research. The presentation follows a clear, logical pattern that the audience can easily follow. Y'all, that's a 20 to 25 point scale on great growth. So clearly that's really, really important. Presentation skills. The student speaks slowly, clearly, and they are audible during their presentation. There is evidence that they've practiced the presentation and that they are not just reading the essay or script for work. The student shows enthusiasm for the presentation topic. The student's body language and facial expressions are appropriate for an academic audience. Y'all, I want to hit on a couple things here. What this looks like, you're not in your pajamas laying in bed, okay? You're not outside where I can hear trucks going by and it's hard to hear you, okay? Dressed for success, okay? Use appropriate tone and make sure you're loud enough so that I'm not struggling to hear what you're trying to communicate. Make sure that you seem excited about the information that you're presenting. That's a huge selling point to your audience really believing you. Incorporation of sources or a works cited. The student attributes at least 2 sources from his or her research while delivering the presentation. Any slides containing borrowed material have the correct parenthetical documentation, and the student includes a correctly formatted works cited page at the end of the presentation. Visuals. The student used a PowerPoint, Prezi, props, poster, or Google slide to organize their presentation with aesthetic appeal. The student includes the required visual components in a presentation, whether those are graphs, photos, video clips, etc. And the visuals should enhance, but not distract from the presentation. So if you take a look at this point scale, these two, content and presentation skills, are both 25 apiece. Incorporation of sources and visuals are 20, and first impressions and conclusions are 10, okay? And that adds up to 100 points. If you have any questions about this rubric, do not hesitate to reach out. So guys, that's really it. That's kind of where we're at. I'm grading your essays, and then you're going to choose one. Choose either the profile essay to present on or the problem solution, and you're going to start working on this presentation. On Sunday, I want to make sure that you have the technology and you're equipped to be able to present this kind of work. So on Sunday, you're going to have a technology test due. The only thing you're going to do is make sure you can get on StreamYard. Make sure that you can say, hi, hello, my name is Logan Dupree. Stop it and submit it to me. And that way I know that you've got a working computer, a working camera, and that you have everything you need to be able to record this presentation. What I don't want to happen is us to get into the final exam season, okay, and you don't have what you need, and I wasn't able to know or see that, okay? So that's really what's going to be due today. That's going to be a technology test. This Thursday, I will more than likely have your essays done, and the lecture will be about the different places that I saw that there needed to be some work done. If you have any questions, today's cut a little short because we don't have any students on here, and I really went over everything you need to be successful. I want you to use the rest of this class time to work on your script, ask any questions, start figuring out how you're going to organize this presentation. If you have any questions, reach out, and I'll look forward to working with you one last time on this final presentation.